I think there's been a huge knock-on effect positively to attitude and approach in the classroom.
My favourite parts of the whole trip was, just seeing that bond.
It takes students out of school environment and places them in different, unfamiliar but safe environments.
Go and have an adventure. If we really want to nurture the whole child and have a holistic education, I think it's really important that we expose students to the outside, having experiences that are very natural, no distractions from any social or emotional challenges, and having the opportunity to try something physical in a safe environment is very important. We also add that cultural element in, so students really feel like they've travelled somewhere and they've been somewhere. One thing I want the students to take away from the trips would be to go outside, no matter what the weather is, with your friends, learn some skills that allow you to be comfortable, and go and have an adventure. A recent residential to Hong Kong was a 5-day trip that focused on risk-taking, self-challenge, and the opportunity for children to collaborate and work together as a year group. We worked to introduce abseiling, canoeing, hiking, climbing, also independence with regards to setting up tents, preparing our lunches, preparing our breakfasts, and also we worked closely on developing independence, where the children were essentially working within their groups as we were navigating through every challenge. We noticed that the maturity, confidence and ability to risk take in the classroom was significantly improved once they returned from the residential. So we decided to put the residential earlier in the year so that those benefits that we could see in the classroom would have a longer lasting impact. One thing I've noticed, and one thing parents have noticed, once the children had achieved that, they have now come back and they even use that as an example to say, actually, I was able to do the abseil on the residential. I can definitely tackle this maths problem, or I can definitely get up on stage and perform in front of our parents and the school community for our celebration of learning and drama activities. So I think there's been a huge knock-on effect positively to attitude and approach in the classroom.
I learned that I was really brave, even though I was very scared most of the time. Now I think I can take on bigger things, like Ignite.
Kind of the same thing for me. I feel like I can take on the bigger things now.
I felt encouraged.
It was quite fun, except I was really scared when we were abseiling. I feel like they should definitely try it if they're scared, because even if they went and they're scared, they can overcome their fears, and then they will think, oh, I want to do it next time.
The Year 7 Adventurous journey fostered empathy because it takes students out of the school environment and places them in different, unfamiliar but safe environments that force them to work together with people they don't ordinarily work with. So they have to consider other people's weaknesses and their own strengths and how they can support each other through tricky situations where we get them to find out more about themselves and how they're so much mentally and physically stronger than they think they are.
The most important lesson was to work together in tough times. And the whole point of the trip was to communicate with each other, share ideas, and use teamwork to get through moments that you need to actually get through.
I definitely think that the adventurous journey was a pretty important part of our learning because it helped us learn life skills. It taught us more physical activities instead of just learning in the classroom.
I've led the Mongolia trip twice now, so for the past 2 years, and it's quite an adventurous journey compared to some of the others. You're really going out into the wilderness, out into the steppe in Mongolia with a group of Year 10s. It gives the students a chance to show a different side of themselves and a chance to push themselves in a different way instead of us just putting another test paper in front of them, and it gives them an opportunity to grow in a different sense. It's this completely different environment, and it really, really exposes them to things, ways of life, even the adventurous skills, the hiking and the abseiling. There are a number of students that haven't done that kind of stuff before. This year, the family that run the campsite had 2 children there kind of helping out with the cooking and the cleaning and stuff. And over the week, you watched our kids and the Mongolian kids get closer. My favorite parts of the whole trip was, just seeing that bond between them and them learning things from each other. This was a really authentic cultural connection that they've built.
It was like an environmental and cultural shock because I never expected that people would actually live like these circumstances really far away. For them, they imagine life as something to be like that. But for us, we see buildings, high-rise buildings every single day, cars, roads, many things, and we're really privileged to like have this, seeing in the circumstances they live in. I feel like it was actually really influential because I never really knew about Mongolian culture and how they live. This is definitely a trip you should go to. First of all, the cultural experience is really beautiful and you get to connect with people.
It really pushes me from like outside my comfort zone and allows me to connect with different people from all over the world. It was really immersive and fun. I made a lot of new friends that I never thought I would be friends with or hang out with, but I think it brought everyone like a lot closer together.